I'm going to hide myself. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, good morning. And good morning, Jim.
Good
Nice.
morning, Anita. Great to see you again.
Same here. Same here. So tell me, just give me your name and tell me what you do.
I am Jim Anderson, and I am the managing director for Google Cloud. I'm responsible for our business in what we call our South Central region, all of our customer activities there. At the same time, I actually sit on the advisory board for Capital G, which is Google's go-to-market equity fund, and really help advise companies on how to scale up and scale out their business.
Yeah.
And I should admit that I am also on the board of Altair Engineering, very proud of that, a public company that I participate with also.
I was gonna say, we got to talk about that last one, or the one before the last one there.
Yes, yes.
So tell me, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all right, and was there, and but I spent most of my life in a town called Columbia, Maryland. All right, so I grew up mostly in Columbia, in the Maryland, D.C. area before I went to college at Princeton. So I call Maryland home at this point in time.
Awesome. And so Princeton grad, tell us about that journey.
Oh, just a great journey for me. I learned a lot. I got a chance to pursue a computer science major while at Princeton. At the same time, I ran track and played football. And for me, Princeton was sort of monumental for our family. A lot of people don't realize when my father grew up, he was not allowed to go to Princeton because blacks could not attend Princeton. So for my perspective, to be able to go to a school and do something that my father could not do actually showed progress as a family and made us all feel good.
So tell me how you got started in tech.
I got started in tech really early in high school with a summer job with.
I'm going to stop you. I had the video kind of faltered for a minute. So can you start that one over?
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you. How did you get started in tech?
I got started in tech actually in high school. I had a summer job with an organization called Naval Sea Systems Command in Crystal City, Virginia. And at the time, they were working to take ship design and take it from blueprints and actually put it on computers. So very early, I think I was 16, I got into that, and I just loved computers from that point on. So I knew I wanted to be a computer science major at Princeton. And then when I came out, my first job was with what they call Accenture today in their advanced systems group, helping people implement emerging technology. So I like to say I'm a Silicon Valley kid. It's been in technology a long time, starting since high school.
What advice would you give others who are looking to go into tech?
First, I think tech is the way to go. Maybe I'm biased, but it's a career where you can really make a difference in people's lives. I believe personally, technology gives you the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives at a great scale out there. At the same time, it's something that's very exciting and dynamic. Technology is changing all the time. So you got a chance to not only bring your skill set, but be creative over time. And I believe tech creates more entrepreneur opportunities than anything else out there. So if you're thinking about, hey, how can I be an entrepreneur? Tech's the way to go to create your own business, go from there. If you think about Bill Gates, you think about Jeff Bezos, all those people became famous based on leveraging technology. And I think it's the same opportunity we have as minorities here in America.
When did you come to Austin?
Wow, that's a great question. I've been in Austin, I want to say 19 years. It's been quite some time. I came here to work for Dell. I had several roles after that were global jobs, so didn't require that I moved. I just traveled on the plane all the time, and both my children were born here. So, I'm sort of a long-time Austin person right now and enjoying it. I like to tell people, because I came from the East Coast, I'm a weather whip, right? So I don't, want to go back to anywhere where it's cold right now. Just enjoying the weather here and going from there, type of thing.
And how would you describe Austin?
I think Austin is a town that I say is an emerging town that's been growing a lot, that has a lot going on with regards to, you see a lot of high-tech companies coming here. You have a very diverse population as far as, skill sets from the University of Texas that can feed into the system here, the employment system here. And it's a little bit eclectic. The city capital city for music. I call it a foodie town. Maybe all of Texas is a foodie town, right? A lot of great places to eat. So Austin is a growing town, and I tell people it sort of was a sleeper for a long time, right? For people on the East and West Coast didn't know about it, a type of thing. But now you see, obviously, people from California and New York looking for places like this and moving here. Type of thing.
Describe your experience of being Black in tech or a Black man in tech.
Well, I like to tell people I'm part of the 3%ers, right? There's only 3% of us, in Silicon Valley firms. So, it's been a very dynamic experience, but it's been a journey, right? I tell people sometimes it's very lonely, right? I know in my case, even at a Google, right? I'm the highest sales leader in Google, so I have no one to look up to when it comes to trying to get advice and experience on what's happening out there. But at the same time, it's given me the opportunity to provide for my family, see the world, and all those types of things. So it's been a very positive experience. I just think that in general, I like to say high tech is new money, that, more Blacks need to get into high tech, versus some of the old careers out there and then experience sort of the dynamic world of high tech and go from there. So for me, it's been very beneficial, but I will admit it's sometimes lonely because there's not a lot of people like me in high tech, and I'm working to try to improve that now.
How do you give back to the community?
Well, I think there's a couple ways to do that. First, I participate in volunteer organizations. As you might know, I was the chairman for Make-A-Wish Foundation here for all of Central Texas for a number of years. I also work with today an organization called Cafe Momentum, which actually works with kids that maybe were in our prison system that are now looking for a second chance, to help give them a second chance through. It's a really neat thing through training them how to be chefs, right? To give them careers and those types of things. At the same time, you participate in all you can as leading by example. So when any opportunity I get to get in front of kids and talk about what I do and why they might want to consider that, I take that up also and go from there.
What are some life lessons that you've learned?
I think there's a couple of things. I say dream big, right? You always got to dream big and pursue your dreams. I think take more risk, right? That's what I've learned as I've gotten older, that you got to take more risk. With risk, there's reward. I think sometimes, especially as minorities, we're worried about taking risks because of the downside, but you got to take more risk and go from there. And second, be resilient, right? You're not always going to win, right? It's not how you always win, it's how you bounce back, right? So you got to be resilient and realize that life is a journey, with many steps out there. So sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But as long as you keep going forward, you'll be successful over time. So you got to believe in yourself.
And what's the best place you've ever lived?
The best place I've ever lived. I would say where I grew up, Columbia, Maryland, type of thing. I had a great time. I still have friends, from Columbia, Maryland, those types of things. I just love growing up in the Washington, D.C. area. Even though we did have cold weather, now that I'm weather whip, but I didn't know there were places like Austin back then, so I enjoyed that. But it was diverse. It was a great family town, and I think my sister and I enjoyed growing up there.
What do you like most about being in tech or in the job that you're in?
I think what I like most about being in tech is it's always changing, right? I'm right now with Google dealing with the cloud. That didn't even exist 10 years ago, right? So tech is a world that's always evolving, and what that means is it's always evolving opportunities. And I like to tell a lot of people, tech is about catching the right wave, right? And so if you think of surfers out there, why they go out there, they're always looking to catch the big wave. Well, it's the same excitement with regards to tech, right? You're always looking to catch that big wave and obviously make it beneficial to you so as you move forward. And I enjoy that dynamic nature of my career.
What do you see as your purpose in life?
I think my purpose is really to make a difference with society and my community, right? I think you have to lead from out front, right? I think you have to show a positive example. Obviously, today I have 2 kids. I live for the kids and have the goal of giving them opportunities that I did not have, right? And so I work, for that. But really, if you focus in on how you can make a difference with your community and society, that's what you'll leave with over time, and that's sort of what I focus in on.
I pulled some of Tim Ferriss's questions that he asked on his podcast. One of them is, what purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or recent memory?
Um, my Google Assist little device that I can say, "Hey Google, what's the weather?" We use that all the time, right? What's the weather? What's the news? So that purchase has affected my life very positively moving forward. Helps me get on time to everything.
I know. I have Alexa, and I say, Alexa listens more than my kids do. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Listen,
Exactly.
she does it what I tell her to do.
Exactly. That's the thing.
How has a failure or a parent failure set you up for later success?
I think the key with failures is really to learn from them, right? And so I like to say, some of my failures actually, I know I had a job that I took and we weren't really successful with rolling out the software and those types of things. So I had to, take another job, right? In many ways, that was a failure, but in many ways, that forced me to re-examine how I take a look at career opportunities and set me on the path that I'm on right now, which is, somewhat successful. So, in the moment, it sounded like, oh my God, that's failure. But looking back, it actually helped me get on the track that's a very positive track moving forward. So I think the key to failures is to learn from them so that you can sort of be better next time. And that's sort of how I approach it.
If you had a gigantic billboard anywhere, anywhere in the world, and you could get a message out to millions and millions of people, what would that billboard say?
Be happy. Simply be happy, right? Be true to yourself, pursue your interests, right? Have confidence in what you want to do. And with that, because if you're happy, you'll make people around you happy and those types of things. So that's what I would simply say.
What's an unusual or absurd thing that you love? And remembering that everything is relative, because I've had a bunch of things that, like Peter Walker said, he likes to watch anime. I was like, I don't even know what anime is. I know that's something my kids watch. I said, that's it. That's unusual, right? He goes, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I would say I have an addiction, and it's an addiction to gummy bears. So unfortunately, I have concluded I am addicted to gummy bears, and it's a weakness. And we used to have gummy bears at our Google office on every micro kitchen level, and I would literally, go visit the floor and go grab a little bag of gummy bears and then go to my meetings, stuff like that. And it is an addiction at this point. So it's become a known fact right now out there, but I actually have an addiction to gummy bears. So I have to admit to some of my addictions over time.
That's a good one. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
In the last 5 years, I think with all that's going on sort of around the world, the tragedies with George Floyd and all those types of things, the new behavior that I have is a commitment to make a difference through leadership whenever I can, right? I think that more and more we have to take our destiny in our own hands, lead by example, and try to make a difference in our communities and those types of things. So I've sort of doubled down on my efforts to try to be a leader in my community, lead from out front and those types of things, versus maybe in the past, I was more of an introvert and sort of sat back and didn't, make comments as much with regards to things and sort of just took it. But I think now's the time. And I learned a little bit from Google. We have a very activist culture at Google, right? A lot of our younger employees are very much on the activist side type of thing. And so I bought into that a little bit more as I've grown up here over the last 5 years.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do to get yourself back on track?
Well, I have a saying that says, manage your energy and not your time, right? And that you really have to think about it. Because I'm managing my time and those types of things. I think especially today's world, very stressful, a lot of things going on. What you have to manage is your energy level. And so what I do is simply, when I feel down or I feel like I can't give 100%, for me, it's going to work out, take a jog, just do some type of exercise, right? To try to get away and revitalize myself and those types of things. And I'm very conscious of that sort of moving forward. I try to take an hour for lunch to just go walk around because I've been stuck in this home office for almost 2 years now, those types of things. So I manage my energy and not my time moving forward. And I'm very conscious about that for my well-being.
In the last 5 years, what have you become better at saying no to?
Time commitments. Yeah, more and more, people are asking you for your time, they're asking you for your help, and you realize that even though you want to help everybody and do as much as you can, the efforts can be diluted, right? So you got to stay focused and put your efforts into, where you can really make a difference. And once again, this concept of give 110% versus giving 50% to a lot of different things, right? So I've just learned to say no with regards to commitments to my time.
Who's your favorite person?
Well, I have a lot of favorite people, I guess, out there. Martin Luther King is a great person in my mind. Muhammad Ali is another great person, with regards to my mind. The struggles and results of a Nelson Mandela, once again, another great person. So just a lot of great people out in the world that can be inspiring and those types of things. I don't know if I have one, but those are three that come to mind right away.
What about closer to home, to to people that you've experienced in your life?
My dad was very influential on my life, right? My dad pushed me. I was born in West Philadelphia, very urban area. He believed in education. So he pushed me and stressed the importance of school and education throughout my career, maybe when I didn't think it was as important. And that's what led me to eventually go to a place like Princeton and get an MBA from a place like Wharton, right? So my dad served as a foundation for pushing me. And, I'm very thankful for that and those types of things.
What do you think your kids will say about you once you're gone?
I don't know. They don't even believe I was an athlete at this point in time in my career, so I just don't know. But hopefully they will say that, hey, my dad was someone I could trust, that I knew cared about me, and that no matter what, would always do what was in my best interest to ensure I could be successful, right? A lot of what I do today is not necessarily living for myself. I've been very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for where I am, where my family is today, but it is laying the foundation for them moving forward so that they can enjoy life as they take that journey.
What is your favorite book or book you'd recommend?
Oh, wow. I don't know what my favorite book I'd recommend right now would be, but my favorite book was Stuart Little, The Journey of a Mouse Through Life type of thing, right? And all the trials and tribulations and the fortitude to survive on that journey type of thing. So I go way back type of thing. So that was sort of my favorite book, of all time. But there's a lot of great books out there, but that's one of my favorites.
What do you enjoy doing in your leisure time?
I mentioned a little bit. In any sports or exercise, I enjoy. I like taking challenges. One of the things, I like to do, Anita, sometimes is every 2 years, I like to go do maybe a sports challenge or something I've never done before, right? Just to challenge me and stimulate the mind and prove that I can do it type of thing. I did that with a triathlon, several years ago and those type of things, running a half marathon. So, any challenge out there where it's like, what, I don't know if I can do this, but let me put it out there and just force myself to overcome the fears and those types of things. That's what I like to do. And for me, it's a lot about sports and exercise and those types of things.
This is the last question that I have. What does it mean to you to be chosen as one of the top 10 technologists among so many other incredible?
Well, I think it's a great honor, right? I think it's a reward for sort of putting in 20 plus years in the high tech industry. But more importantly, I think it can serve as an example of what's possible for a lot of the kids that I deal with and I talk to, and that, will see this moving forward. And hopefully someone will say, I want to work at Google like Jim, right? That's the real benefit to me. It's that visibility and giving hope to others. We talked about sort of Make-A-Wish, how giving hope is such a powerful thing for kids. In many ways, I'm hoping that through this award, I can give hope to a new generation of kids that will want to get into a career like mine and take advantage of it and those types of things.
Like I said, that was my last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I just want to thank you and your organization for what you're doing, right? It's having a positive impact on, our community. I talked about impacting the community before, but more importantly, as you talked about, providing examples to give kids something to look up to and try to encourage them into the STEM environment, I think is critical to our community. So I just want to thank you for your efforts in that area and say keep up the good work.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Stop the recording. You have how to without hanging up on you. I have no idea. Totally.
Should I do the intro again? Everything else seemed okay with the intro.
Yeah, let's do. You want to do it again?
Just introducing myself. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
board thing I put off later. You were going to ask me about it, but you didn't. But anyway, go ahead.
What was it? Say again.
The board, I kind of mentioned that sort of last minute about
Okay.
being on the Altair board. I just wanted to do the intro of who
Right,
my
yeah.
name is stuff again. So you're going to ask me?
Yeah. So just tell me your name and what do you do?
I am Jim Anderson. I am currently the managing director for Google Cloud's South Central region. I have responsibility for all of our customer activities here in the South Central region. Really, my goal is to help us drive hyper growth in our cloud business. At the same time, I happen to sit on the go-to-market advisory board for Capital G, which is Google's equity fund that invests in late-stage startups. So I really work with some late-stage startup companies as we invest in them to help them scale up and scale out their business, give them some advice there. And last but not least, I currently do sit on the board of Altair Engineering, a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange.
Awesome.
There you go.
So how do you guys find your companies?
Well, we have themes that we tend to invest in, right? One of the great things for me about participating with Capital G is that they take a look at the market and they take a look at the latest technology themes that we believe are going to make a difference sort of moving forward. And based on those themes, we look for later stage startup companies that are really, if you want to say, investing in those themes, trying to drive those themes forward and go from there. Things like no code, right? Things like what's happening around data and data management and all those types of things. So the latest technology themes, we sort of do a lot of research on that and then saying who are the players in those themes, and then we look to invest in them, moving forward, and then help them be successful to scale out their business. Because a lot of startups are good at starting, but as you know, Anita, trying to get from starting to that next phase of $100 million to $500 million is where a lot of those companies need help. And they bring in people like myself to help advise them on that.
So are you guys like a venture studio? Like, is it it's you bring the companies into Google, so to speak, and
no, actually, it's kind of interesting. Capital G sort of sits outside of Google Cloud specifically, but Google, so they act independent. I mean, they are truly an institution where they're trying to take $1 and get 10 back, type of thing, right? So that is really their focus on those types of things. Now, that being said, we do bring a lot of resources that's our advantage with regards to deploying our capital to try to help these companies be successful. Because obviously, if they're successful, then our investment in them is going to be successful and give us the return we're looking for.
right. Do you guys invest in other funds?
No, not right now. I don't believe we have it, but there are other funds in Google, right? But Capital G does not necessarily, I believe, invest in other funds.
Well, like I said, that's all I have. This has been awesome. Of course, kids are always, my son, I'm sure, is as well. They always, they aspire to be you guys, right? Although he wants to go to Harvard.
So there you go. My brother, maybe I can help correct them. Right?
He's already got the paraphernalia. He's already 14 is already, he's already knows.
There you go. There you go. Hey, they're all good schools, but there's experience that matters.
Exactly. I just think it's because it's on the East Coast.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, Jim. This has been awesome. And let's see. I think the only thing we need was your photo, and I'm not sure if she sent it yet, but I think that was.
I'll ping Marianne to send it. I thought she had sent it to you already.
I've been inundated with emails, so I'm not sure. But,
I'll ping her.
Okay. Well, Well,
All right.
awesome. Thank you. And you enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend.
Oh, thank you. You too. Enjoy. We'll have to connect sometimes since we're both here. So
Sure. Yeah. And hope to see you guys at the gala. Love to
yeah,
meet your wife and
on
be
the
great
20th.
to
Yeah.
have some fun. All
Great.
right.
Have
Take
a
care.
good one.
You
Thanks.
too. Bye.